Well, joining me in the studio today is Tom Pennis, who's the Real Estate Advertising Director for News Limited. Yeah, a big deal. And it's great to see Tom over here in South Australia. Welcome, Tom.
Thank you, Anthony.
Now, Tom, you've been on the show before.
Yeah.
But for those that didn't see the last time you were here, tell me about Tom. Where are you from? What have you done? What's your background?
Okay, so I'm from Sydney. I work and live in Sydney. I was brought up in Sydney. I work for News Limited, as you've indicated, and I look after all our papers, about 130 real estate newspapers. Obviously, the Adelaide Advertiser and Messenger for South Australia are our key titles. And across Australia, we've got a number of mastheads that are very strong in real estate. In Sydney, things like the Wentworth Courier. In Queensland, Gold Coast Bulletin. And my job is, it's a commercial job, making sure that we're getting revenue, strategy, looking after the teams, and dealing with the big clients like yourself.
Good on you, Tom. Now, Tom, interesting, you still do auctions as well, so
Yeah.
you've got a real estate background.
Yeah, so I got an office when I was 22, and my ex-business partner still owns the office. So I've got, my career has been real estate. That's the common denominator, and I run an auction company in Sydney, in the inner west of Sydney, specialising in suburbs like Newtown. And I just do on-sites every Saturday. I still love it. I'll do it for nothing, but I hope that my clients aren't watching it. I mean, I love it. There's nothing that gives you the thrill of an auction that really goes off. And it's a good fit with News Limited, because a lot of our revenue, Anthony, is auction type business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Tom, I'm not sure whether you want to go there or not, but I'll ask the question. You and I share some personal sort of issues, challenges and that, and did you want to go there at all?
Yeah, well, I mean, the whole issue is, the great thing is that we both got diagnosed with cancer, and we've both
still alive?
Both still alive. So that's a real big plus. And I think you know as well as I do that it changes everything. You know, it changes everything. And I'm glad we had dinner last night, and I'm really positive about what you told me about your prognosis. I'm absolutely pumped. I didn't have a great prognosis myself, but it's been...
Now, hearing that story,
Yeah.
and I think it's like, let's just share it.
Yeah.
So basically, you were given zero chance?
Yeah, well, the cancer that I had was generally considered not curable, right? It's a cancer that's got a bad prognosis. And I was told that not to be optimistic at all, but I went on a number of medications, including new trial drugs, one of the drugs from Roche Pharmaceutical, and I responded to that drug, and I've been cancer-free for a number of years, and my doctor says to me that it's amazing. The success rate in the cancer that I've had is not great, and I actually hate...
Tell that story. You told me last night.
He indicated to me that people that have had my conditions that he's treated since 2006, he can't actually recall anyone that's had a recovery, you know.
And you've passed your 5-year test?
So I passed my 5-year test. I've been 5 years cancer-free now.
Well done, mate. That's good.
So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm also excited about the fact that, you know, Anthony, you get to look at the next 30, 40 years with a different set of eyes, you know. And sometimes I think there's a saying that some of the best gifts come badly wrapped, and to me, it's cancer. For someone else, it could be a divorce, it could be an accident, the death of a loved one. For me, it was this health issue. But I'm healthy and fit now, and you can tell.
You certainly are. Yeah.
Last night, just by the things that I eat and the fact that I wanted to go to bed at 9:30, so it's been a big turnaround.
And by the way, he got to bed at 10:30, so he's tired, man. But
yeah, big bender.
Yeah. And now, Tom, how does that flow into your work environment? So, was that when you went across to News Corp from the real estate business?
So, from a real estate business, I went off and I ran one of the major networks. And that was in Sydney for a few years. Then I was essentially just doing auctioneering. And then I decided that the travel had got to me. And we were also trying to have a baby, and that wasn't coming easily. And when you're traveling, obviously that's not going to help. So I've been with News now for about a decade.
Okay. Now, Tom, let's get back into the work space. So you're at News. You're visiting South Australia. Why do you come here, and what sort of things are you trying to achieve in Adelaide?
Okay, so this visit here, it's a short two and a half day visit. I'm doing 8 workshops on real estate marketing. We're covering information and content that we think real estate agents should use when they're talking to vendors. We still have a strong belief that you need a broad marketing mix when you're selling your property. That's been confirmed by RP Data, who've carried out a project that looked at print and online around the country, and generally speaking, a property that used two mediums, being print and online, and of course signboards and property guides. Yeah. There's a high success rate. So this is evidence-based now.
So Tom, originally the papers were in denial. I can remember back 15 years ago, 10 years ago, probably because it hadn't really impacted. Now I think there's a consensus and a belief system from both the papers and online that the mix is what it's all about. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Now we've spoken before, and it would have been maybe 12 months ago.
Yeah.
How much has it shifted? If you're an owner of a property who's our audience, what would they expect to hear from a really competent, informed real estate agent different today than what they would have a year ago?
Okay, I think it has shifted significantly. It's very difficult, Anthony, to work out how much the shift from print to online and the adjustment of revenues is based on a structural change and how much it has been economic factors. Because whilst we've had this structural change of migration of print to online, we've also seen a downturn in real estate volumes around the country.
Big downturn.
Yeah. Print continues to be significant revenue for News Limited, and realestate.com is majority owned by News Limited.
Yes.
And we're very proud of that website, and I personally think it is the best website in Australia, and it is brain tattooed on people's heads that when they're looking to buy. I do have that belief. I also have a belief that a really good real estate professional that goes off to a vendor should be looking at where potentially all the buyers come from, but not just the volume of buyers, because not every buyer is equal. Some buyers, Anthony, are more valuable than other buyers.
Definitely.
You know?
As in their motivation, they're willing to act.
Correct.
Their preparedness.
Correct. So what I would say is it would be inaccurate for a real estate agent to go to a vendor and say, I think you should spend this amount in print, this amount on your signboard, this amount on your property guide, because 70% of our buyers come from here, 20% of our buyers come from here. That is not the correct way to look at it. What you should be looking at is the quality of the buyers, the ones that actually buy the property, and actually ask them, where did you first see this property advertised? Because it's quite a different answer you get than when you ask, where did you come from? Ultimately, all buyers end up online because online has everything, has floors.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think to answer your question, realistically, a good real estate agent, a business like your size that analyses its data and has a look at where the sales actually are made and where your quality buyers come from, and then you recommend a marketing program based on that. I go to a fair bit of listing presentations with agents for coaching purposes, and also keeps me grounded at knowing what the market wants instead of us just sitting in our building in the city in Sydney. And I always come back to the same thing when I'm talking to a vendor, and I say, do you want a marketing program that you'd like, or do you want a marketing program that you need? Because the answers are different. Most people would like a cheap marketing program, one that's not stressful, one that's going to be nice and easy. But many times, Anthony, that's quite different to what they need.
They need. Tom, a good spot to stop there, but we'll come back. I've got some other questions I need to ask you. In the meantime, let's go to Going, Going, Gone.